Good morning. Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and welcome back if you've already been watching these videos, right? I'm doing I call them car chronicles. It doesn't have to be called anything, but sometimes I was gonna do it at home, but my daughters were still asleep, and I was like, and then I wanted to get on the road, and I was like, let me go ahead and just, if I'm gonna make a video, do it in the car. So when I was pulling up to the campus, I I had a strong desire to try to find a spot to create a video, and I was just like, let me just go to where I need to be, and then that way I'll make a video, then I'll be right where I need to be. All things work together for your good. All things work together for your good. This is going to help you alleviate some of the frustration that you may feel when it comes to manifesting your goals, creating the life you choose, and receiving the treatment or the response from people and places and things that you feel like you deserve, but maybe you're not at the place where you're attracting that yet, right? So just keep this in mind. All things work together for your good. The number one point I want to make is, I don't really have a list, but I did write some things down, but it's not really a 1, 2, 3. It's just me. Keep sowing those seeds. That's what's so important. I find that when people get to a place where they get frustrated, or they have some kind of stagnation, or where things are not playing out exactly the way that they want them to, there's a tendency to stop planting good seeds, right? There's a tendency to walk around in frustration and aggravation, and then limit yourself in your interactions with other people because you are not getting what you want. So therefore you're cutting yourself off from creating more of what you want. So just because you don't see it today doesn't mean you don't spend today planting those seeds, right? So what is it you want to experience in every realm or every aspect of your life, right? So sometimes I mentioned this before, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but it's in my head. My daughters can get real self-centered and selfish, right? And I think to myself, like, I'm not going to feed into that energy today. I am going to continue to plant the seeds for the type of relationship that I want to have with them on a continuous basis. So while I say sometimes I'll step back, I'll take a break, right? And then other times, I'll keep on being positive and sowing good seeds. So sometimes I get in the car in the morning with them on the way to work, and I'm just laughing because, the 15-year-old always has some kind of little weird attitude. And I just completely, like, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to plant a seed. So I'll put on some music or some spoken word or some type of audio that speaks to the soul, that speaks to the spirit, and speaks to the gratitude that we all should have, that speaks to the love of an abundance that overflows in our lives. And then I don't even have to say anything, and then a few minutes later, the love and kindness that I know that she possesses comes right back out of her, right? So keep in mind that you have to continue to sow those seeds even in moments of frustration and aggravation, because that's ultimately the test. That's ultimately the part of you that has to come out when things are not going exactly as the way that you want them to go, right? To make your life the life you choose. Another thing is, be grateful in advance for the victory over everything that's happening in your life, right? So if you have a situation that seems like it's not improving, that seems like you're not getting any clarity on it, it seems like it's completely causing frustration over and over again, I find that the more we try to fix that and solve that puzzle, the deeper and deeper we dig into aggravation, anger, and dissatisfaction. So completely disconnecting from the entire situation and just telling yourself that you are just being grateful for the outcome that you want to see is another version of sowing those seeds into the life that you choose, right? Because when you can learn to be grateful for things that are not sitting in front of you, that means that you are calling those things into your life and into your space, right? So being grateful for financial abundance, even if you're not in an abundant place. Being grateful for a healed relationship, even if your relationship feels like it's off track. Being grateful for the right career, even if it feels like every door you're knocking on is not giving you the answer you want, right? Being grateful for promotion in every aspect of your life, even though what you're looking at is not exactly the promotion, right? It's not exactly what you see. Is learning to be grateful for the outcome that you choose, creating and cultivating that energy to take with you forward in every bit of your day. Like if you felt like you had victory in a certain part of your life or in a relationship, how would you act in that situation? How would you be? How would you continue forward, right? And this is not about pretending or placating or patronizing people or glossing over the real issues that are there. This is saying that I know that issue is there. I see this issue. I would like for this to improve, but in the meanwhile, I'm not going to be bitter that it hasn't, right? Being grateful for the victory. And then the last point that I had to make is lean into service. When I find that we are caught up in what's not working and what needs to change and what's just not clicking for us and what's, and it's so weird because in life, it's always a thing of when something is really, really working well on one end, then something often is really not working well on another end. And it's because your life is trying to level up and you haven't struck the balance across the board yet to where it's just exactly how you want it to be. There's some days where it's like, but it's not so off balance to where it's really affecting you negatively, right? And so it's like you are coming up, you got this in order, and then this thing needs to catch up with it. This thing, then this thing, and then these things need to catch up. So sometimes you have a lot of stuff that's working right, and then this thing is just not caught up with it, right? I can honestly say that as far as relationships go, like especially with family and all that sort of thing, for a while, those relationships hadn't caught up with where I was at in my life. And now I feel like they have. I feel like I can be in the presence of a lot of family members and be around my mother and be around my father, and I don't have these ridiculous, unrealistic expectations for what they should be or what I need from them. And funny enough, that is exactly what I've received in so many instances with a lot of people. And it wasn't through beating them upside the head with what they weren't doing right. And I have to keep that in mind. But at the same time, what I had to do was disconnect from the environments until the relationships and the interactions caught up with it, right? Because sometimes we outgrow something as it is, and the first thing we want to do is just rip it down. We're like, oh, now I see this is not working. This ain't right. This is not where I would want this to be. This is not what I would expect from this interaction. But at the same time, you're not around people who have all rose to the occasion at the same exact time that you have. And I think the worst thing that you can do, what I'm finding myself being very, very cautious of, is being frustrated and being dissatisfied, because it just continues to create negative energy, and then the areas for growth are not really tapped into, right? And so the idea of leaning into service means that you can, I don't know if I mentioned that was my third point, but yeah, you can lean into service for other people and just put yourself on the back burner and just give of who you are, give of your time, give of your creativity, and then find fulfillment in that, right? And find gratitude in that and find connection in that, because you're not always going to get connection from every aspect of your life at any given time. Sometimes you have to fill in the connection that you're not getting over here in another space over there, so that you're not laser focused or hyper focused on that thing that's not working right. You just pull back and say, well, how can I give more of myself? How can I be more and give more? And it may not be giving more and being more in that situation that's not working right, but it's cultivating that level of energy in you. It's cultivating that level of spiritual growth in you that you are praying bleeds over into the other aspects of who you are, right? Because you can really take who you are everywhere you go. You can really be who you are everywhere you go. I'm honestly a person that can honestly say I never even considered the idea of working at a job, like giving myself to an institution or something like that. Like, it was always just pieces of me. It's like, I'll give you this little bit of time, I'll give you that little bit of time. But I've fallen into a place now where my daughters have access to a free education. I didn't even know this. If I just continue to lean into service. And so yesterday I was doing some work and somebody had a problem and needed to be solved. And I was like, okay, I can do a quick, I call them job aids. When you create, like, it's a technical writing thing. When you create a roadmap for how someone can solve a technical problem, and you use screenshots and, arrows, and you type out what they should do. I mean, and it takes a lot of slowing down for a person that does this stuff second nature. And you got to go step by step, and you can't assume that anybody knows what the next step should be. So every time you click that mouse, you need to tell someone why you're clicking that mouse. You can't go past any steps. So I sat there yesterday and I looked up, I spent like 4 hours creating this thing, and it's not a normal practice to solve a problem in that much depth. But I completely loved it and enjoyed it, because a lot of people you're with sometimes, they're always like, well, we don't provide that service. We don't do that, because if you do it, then they're going to expect it all the time. But I don't care about that. I mean, and what I found is that there was so much fulfillment in solving that problem and being of assistance, and also working in collaboration with the person with the problem and saying, okay, try this out. Let me know if this solves your problem. And then we can move further to the next step to get you along the way, right? And it wasn't bulldozing my way through saying, I got the solution, let me, it was more of an idea of leaning into service and deciding, okay, this is what I can bring to you right now. This is how I can help you solve this problem right now. And then what you need after that, work on that part and then tell me afterwards, right? So I find that when we take ourselves out of what's not working, what's being frustrating to us, and we make ourselves indispensable to someone to make their lives better, to make their lives easier, we may have the ability to let that bleed over into the areas that aren't working for us, right? It may be possible. But being frustrated and being dissatisfied, it doesn't work. It doesn't give you that level of positive energy that you need to cultivate the lifestyle that you choose, right? And just keep in mind that all things are working together for your good. So even things that don't look like they're working together for your good, they are. You're creating every bit of that in everything that you do. So that's where that saying comes, how you do anything is how you do everything. You can't be at home and being rude or ugly to the people that you are surrounded by and then go off into a work environment and be like an angel. It's just like, no, that's a contamination of the spirit. And anytime you see yourself going into the direction to where you're willing to give something here that you're not giving over there, you have to really ask yourself, am I sowing the right seeds to create the lifestyle that I want to have, to create the response from people that I want to have? Am I being grateful for victory or success in this thing already? Or am I acting like success is not even possible? Because if you're acting like success is not even possible in that thing, how are you expecting to achieve it? And am I leaning into service? Am I giving of myself in a way that I know is going to be something that I want reciprocated to me? And I'm not doing it for the reciprocation. I'm doing it because it's important to me to give this level of myself in everything that I am connected to, right? So am I speaking kindly? Am I speaking in a way that is creating positive feedback everywhere that I go? Because some of us will do that. We will go into the workplace because somebody's paying us to be there and speak so kind and so gently and give so much of ourselves, then go home, and the minute someone is not able to show up for us in the way that we need, that's nothing but frustration, dissatisfaction, and aggravation. Can we carry that empathetic and that grateful attitude across the board to create the life that we choose? Can we really believe that all things are always working for our good at the end of the day, right? Because if we believe that, then our attitudes are better. Our smiles come out more often. Our energy is raised. People want to be around us. People don't want to disregard us and go do something else, and get away from us because it's like, oh, I can't do that person today. You bring light and love and positive energy everywhere you go, right? So think about that. Remember, all things are working for your good. And are you acting and treating your life like all things are working for your good in every aspect of your life? That's all I have. I'm not even mad at this car conversation today, right? Normally I'm like, I don't have a microphone. I'm like, I'm not even mad because I found this way to set my camera up using my little, the stand you put your phones on whenever you're driving so you won't have it in your hand. And like if it's directly in my steering wheel, I pull my seat back. It's like I'm not a host. I love it. So if I have to make a video in my car, to me it's not second rate. I figured out a way to do it well. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take that positive attitude. Take that energy that you want to see everywhere in every aspect of your life. And it's very hard in places where you feel like people are just sucking your energy out and you're not getting the same spiritual growth and development that you feel like you're putting out. You're not getting that energy back. Like you feel like the energy is being sucked from you and you're not getting that. They're not able to give that energy back to you. You still have to keep on sowing the right seeds, believing that all things are working for your good, being grateful for the success that's not happened, just being grateful for it, and leaning into ways like, how can I be of service to you? Because me right now, I'm too selfish and self-centered. I can't do me right now. How can I be of service to you, right? Anyway, have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed, joyous, abundant, fruitful, amazing, advantageous, beautiful day.